Okay, welcome, folks. This is our lecture for Design 350, and we're on Tuesday the 30th. It's 11 o'clock. We're on a Google Meet. We are recording this right now. And so let's take a look and see what's up. We are working on our second week. It's really the first week, but it's our second week. It's our project number 3. It's a new development, and we're considering it commercial. There's actually a combination of a church, an innovation lab, and low market housing in this mixed use development. And so we've gone over what the project requirements are. I'm going to do it again today, and then I'm going to show you just a little bit of Revit for today. Now let's take a look and see when things are due, though. All right, so a progress check number 1. Actually, your final one is due here because you have this week to finish it up, because next week we're going to work on our final portfolio presentation. It says it's due here on the 16th, but that's really a progress check. And then the final day to turn in your portfolio is on the 16th. Now, this is for your work in the second half of the class where we've been doing land planning versus survey. You've already turned in the midterm your survey work and the full review of your capability of doing that. So this is your ability to put this this together as a full project here, the full final portfolio presentation. Okay, so you've got this week to finish this one out, and it's really not too onerous. There's not a ton of work on this. So let's go over a little bit more of it. Okay, so let's look at the project requirements. This is in keeping with the County of Sacramento Department of Community Development. So you always want to make sure that your project has some substantive connection to what's allowed or what's desired by your local planning groups. And so we know that infill of underutilized properties is a preferred method to address the housing shortage. And so that's the first part of this goal. And then the second part is utilizing vacant or underutilized lands to accommodate future economic and population growth. So it's been expanded to do more than the area's housing shortage. It's to also accommodate future economic growth. Okay, and we know that special consideration will be given to projects that do this. They will allow a higher or lower density based on the community and the site suitability. Okay, so what are we trying to do here? In short, okay, we're going to combine two properties into a mixed use. Now, we're not going to actually combine the property. The current owners at 4600 Winding Way, which is a church, would purchase 4632 Winding Way, which we just finished up, and would build a pair of 2-story apartments. That's 4 units at each. So that's 8 units now that are being built on that site. And add approximately 4,000 square feet for an innovation space. And we talked a little bit about what could go into this innovation space in the lab yesterday, and that is posted in the playlist. Okay, so now we know that there's a community service food bank that's associated with the church, and the goal is to leave that alone. Of course, we want to keep the community service food bank, but the innovation center would be built out uh, with a flexible use model. So there are ways to do that to make an area able to be used for many things, and that's to make sure that it's got the capabilities. So you would want to put in proper equipment and facilities for food service, as an example. You would want to make sure that there's enough power for refrigeration, that there's maybe grease traps and things like that for food service and washing, and that there's a place for people to drive up supplies. You would want to make sure that there's good internet in case there's some internet businesses. You would want some storage space. And so you would just think about that. And at this level of what we're going to do this week, you don't really have to design it or think about it or even have the power. I just want you to think a little bit about what it might be like. Is it one big uh, 4,000 square foot? So that would be like, what would that be? 4,000 square foot would be somewhere like around 60 by 60. That's 3,600. So are you going to put a 60 by 60 blob in there, pad, or are you going to do like maybe a 40 by 40 and make it 2 or 3 stories tall? Are you going to use maybe containers and stack them? So just think about that a little bit and where you would put it, but have the ability for, some traffic around it, some parking around it, things like that. Okay? And then the apartments would meet low market rate by being small. So these 4 units could each be, say, 600 to 900 square feet. And then to make up for being small, you might have a common area laundry or utility area, a common area personal storage, outdoor cooking area, and even maybe a common area guest restroom facility, as you would see at maybe apartment complex pools and things like that. You could even have a common area kitchen if you so desire. A lot of places have that. Okay, and the goal is to maintain the open and natural feel of the current lot while putting all of this up. So that's your goal. Now, what's required? We want to know what services are available locally and which ones are lacking, because that will help drive approvals of the innovation center. Innovation in this case is just the ability to do small startups, get a business running, see how it's going to work. It could be, beauty salon. It could be a small maker space where people build things. It could be a ghost kitchen. It could be a tutoring center. It could be all sorts of different things. It could be a small research center. So all sorts of ways that you could work that. What's required? Your letter of intent, which has been formatted already. You've already got one of those. And then I want 3 views. Okay? These can be on 3 separate sheets. You can combine them on 1 or 2 sheets. Existing site plan for the 2 properties. a demolition plan for the two properties, and then the proposed site plan. So we're really just hitting the main items and main topics here. Okay? Those 3 sheets in Revit. So let's see what that might look like. First of all, how will you get the existing sites? Here I am in Google, and the easiest way to do that is to right click on a line and measure it, and then you can go put that in and see and get it close to scale by what you know. So to do that, I'm going to right click on a spot up here. I think that's pretty close to the lot line. Right click, measure the distance, and I'll measure it down to, I don't know, it's probably around there. 402 feet. So it's probably a little bit farther because that's supposed to be 420 feet. Let me try that again. And I'm going to right click there, measure, and I'll come down a little far. There's 408. So that'll be close enough. Okay, but now when I snip it, there we go. File, save as, and I'm just getting something that I can put into my Revit. Okay, so now when I go to Revit, I can actually let me just make a new I'll just make a duplicate of this. This is just to demonstrate for you how to do this. And I'll just erase all of that. Make sure I don't have anything that's hidden. That's okay. It's that. That looks okay. All right, so now I can insert my image. And it looks like my crop region needs to be a little bit bigger. Expand my crop region a little bit. There we go. And I know that this is about 408. So let me see if how close I am to getting that right. So I think I can do a measure. That says it's 381. So I need to make it a little bit bigger. Just it has to get substantially bigger. That was a little too big, but you get the picture. You can and I don't need it to be perfect for what we're doing. We're taking a little bit of a shortcut. There we go. 408 feet. Now I have an image that is pretty close to scale, and I'll click on it and pin it. Right now it's stuck there, and I can draw my property lines, massing in sight. And I don't need this to be perfect. I'm just going to estimate my property. And like I said, it does not need to be perfect because this is just showing what we plan to do on this site. It's not meant to do a whole lot more. So there's one property. And now let me make another property, massing in site. Oh, let me take that property And remember, I have to give it a comment as existing. And this one was 4632 Winding Way. So now I have a property there. And you don't have to use an existing file. I'm using an existing file that kind of gets in the way a little bit, but you can do this all from a new file. So again, I'll sketch and I'll start. I'll pick this line and this line, and then I'll just move from there. Then I can make some estimates here on Pasadena. And I'm just asking you to do something that looks reasonable on this one. Okay, and so if I click on this one now that I just did, again, I can call it existing and give it a name. That's 4600 Winding Way. So there's my site plan existing. Now I do want to put my building in here. So remember, that's from annotations. That's a region. And again, I want to get close. I don't have to have every little piece of it. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but there we go. There's one. So I can make that, and then I can on a crosshatch filled, and then I can make another one right next to it. And this is the food bank. And you can take a little bit more care than I am to do a nicer job, but this will give you the idea, right, of what it should look like. And then of course you would do the same for the existing buildings on 4632. So now if I hide this, I have a site plan. You can put your property lines on there, even if they're not exactly right. That will be okay for this particular submittal because I'm pushing you a little bit fast on getting those done. But that becomes your existing site plan. And I believe to get it to fit nicely on the sheet that you want it like 1 equals 100. Remember, you want something that says like Winding Way. And you probably want one that says Pasadena. I don't know whether that one's a drive. I'd have to go look it up. And then you could label each of these sites. This is 4600. And then this one is 4632. And these don't have to be quite as large. Those are 3/16. They can be 3/32. And it wouldn't hurt to give the approximate square feet of the lot and the buildings, just so people have kind of an idea. Right? So that becomes your existing. Of course, if you want to do more, you can show where parking is, you can show where trees are. But that pretty much gives you the basics of it. There's your start. So it doesn't take a lot, but that would be your existing site plan. Okay? So some property lines. You don't need elevations, you don't need topography, you don't need the drainage. Just put a little time into making this one look good. But that lets people know, there's one, there's another. Now, you might want to make a property schedule that has those two properties on it. We've done that before. That might look nice. And when you put it onto your existing site plan, I'm going to get rid of that one. And that one was, I think it was that one. There we go. Got it. So that it's not a huge deal for this one. This one should not take you too long. I'd like you to do this one fairly quickly and then spend your time on what you're going to do right here. So, you know that you're going to have also a few items right here that you're going to need to demolish. So, your demolition plan would be a copy of this, and you would show that you're going to demolish the existing structures that are on that site. Okay. And then the main effort for this one is going to be, what are you going to do with this new site? Where are you going to put the two 4-unit apartments? Where are you going to put the innovation center? Where will your ingress and your egress be? Where will parking be? Where will the ability to put supplies be? Particularly with 8 units here, you're going to have some garbage. Where are they going to put their garbage so that the trucks can come by and pick up garbage on garbage day? Are you going to set aside space for solar or something like that? So, really, I'm hoping that the majority of your work is going to be spent thinking about this site and how you can integrate these two, and then doing a nice letter so that you can show a future employer that you understand that there's a great amount of thought process before you start drawing and doing things and getting things set up. Okay? So I suspect that, and this isn't looking great here. I need to do a little bit of work on this. looks like it needs to move up a little bit. There we go. And I can go back and move that crop region to be a little bit smaller. It's okay. It's not hurting anything to stick out like that. But we can get it to squeeze right in if we need to, so that the drawing looks clean when somebody clicks on it. There we go. Right? And so all those things that this would be good to have a north arrow. It would be good to have um, uh, a scale bar or a scale line on it. So if somebody plots this out differently, they can figure it out. It should have a couple of dots on each of these corners. You don't need elevations, but it would just be good to get this one finished up. Maybe take an hour total to make this view, and then maybe 15 or 20 minutes to make your demolition plan, because you'll just point at a few things to demolish. Better save this while I'm at it. And then, as I said, spend time. Figure out what you want this new site work to look like at 4632 Windy Way. Yesterday's lab, we even talked, since there's a food bank here, of even putting in some community garden here that would help support the food bank with some fresh food at certain times of the year. I know there's some great horticulture students at American River College about half a mile away that might even be able to do an internship running a garden and making the garden really productive for the food bank. So, think a little bit. That's the main thing on this. Really think about what you would like to do that meets the guidelines of the Sacramento County Urban Infill Plan. And how many cool things could you get done with this property that help meet those needs? Okay, so there we go. That's the goal for this week. You're going to have 2 or 3 sheets plus a letter of intent. Submit it as a PDF and as the Revit file. There we go. That's it. I'm going to turn off the recording and get this ready to post.